Good morning to all the participants. With your confirmation, I will start with the class. So, please confirm regarding the audio clarity and also the visibility on the screen. Please confirm so that I can start and continue with my discussion. Okay. We had started with the rule-based classifier from the previous session. So, we understood what is a rule-based classifier. Okay. Prior to that, what is a classifier basically? So classifier, as the name itself is indicating, is taking the input, which is records or data objects, and deciding to which class it should go and sit, whether it's class A, class B, class C, class D. So that was a classifier. So classifier, once again I'm repeating, classifier is a method or a model which will decide to which class the input data object should go and sit. Okay. So now, how to build a classifier, how to train a classifier. So those mechanisms we are discussing as part of module 4. So we started with the very first mechanism, the first way of building the classifier model, that was a decision tree. So we understood we can build a classifier in the form of a hierarchical tree structure starting from the root node with intermediary nodes and the leaf node. Okay. So the root node and intermediary nodes were the ones which assisted in making a decision about what? Reaching a specific leaf node. And we understood the leaf node was the class. So that was a decision tree uh, which helped us or which assisted us in building a classifier model. So in technological world, we understand there is no one single way of doing things. Okay, we have a problem in hand and we have hundreds of mechanisms for realizing the problem or for coming out with a solution. So I already had related this to your final year project. So this will be your step one. So given a problem or you have selected a problem, what are the possible solutions that exist for that problem? So you need to study that. Okay, so we call it as literature survey. So anyhow, I'll brief you regarding that in a different point of time. So for building, the problem here is building a classifier model. So we have many solutions for this problem. The first solution was a decision tree. The second solution was a rule-based classifier. Okay. So we were focusing on the second solution starting from the previous session. So we understood what is a rule-based classifier. Okay. So objective is same. We are building a classifier model. Okay. So I'm getting a message regarding some internet connectivity issues. I hope the content is clearly audible, whatever I'm explaining. Okay. So I was talking about building a classifier by framing rules. Okay. So as you can see on the screen, this is a classifier which is having rules, rule 1, rule 2, up to rule n. How you arrive at these rules, how you build these rules. Okay, so these rules were built based on the previous data set, historical data that was already existing related to that application. For example, if it was a classifier which is related to medical data, so the patient database will be the input that will be used to generate the rules. Okay, so if it is a classifier related to email, okay, so previous emails that were sent, that were received, so that will be used to build the rules for the classifier. The point here is rules are derived from historical data, that's it. Meaning that this is also supervised. Okay, the classifier will not work on its own. Okay, we need to train this classifier with the historical data. This training will result in some rules, that is what you are seeing on the screen. Okay, inside the classifier I have written this. The training that has been given to the classifier has resulted in rules being generated for this classifier. Rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. Now what is the use of this rule? Given with a new situation, given with a new data object, given with a new record, this classifier will be capable of deciding to which class this new record will go and sit. For example, you can see on the screen, I'm marking it as NR. The new record that was given as input to the classifier can decide to which class it can go and sit. Is it class A, class B, or is it a default class? So So this was the discussion that we had done in the previous class. Also, we discussed about how a typical rule will be. Okay, so in a classifier, how a rule will be. So that was the starting part actually, starting part of the session. We understood a rule will have two parts. And to be more specific, it is three parts. The first one is the rule number. Okay, R1, R2, R3, R4. So that is the first part. Second part is the condition, which is also called as the antecedent or precondition. And third part is the consequent. Okay, this is the third part. So these are the three parts of a rule in a rule-based classifier. So rule number, I think no difficulty in understanding that it is R1, R2, R10, R25. Coming to the condition part, how a condition is generated. So condition depends on the application. See, we understood each application will have data records. Each record will have attributes and values. Okay, so different attributes and values will be used to decide on what should be towards the right hand side, what class should be selected, that is a consequent. Okay, so all these things were explored in depth and detail in the previous session. I would not like to repeat it because anyhow the video recording is available. If you have any doubts, you can just go through the video recording that was uploaded in the YouTube channel. Okay, so hope you are aware of it. Already had informed you. So starting from module 4, I'm daily uploading so whatever sessions were conducted, so a recording of it is I'm uploading it. If by chance you could not attend the session, or if you're not clear with the things, you can repeat it. Still, if you are not clear, you can discuss with me on call or through WhatsApp, no problem. Okay. So this is the general form that we had seen with respect to building rules for this rule-based classifier. Now we explored some issues with this. Okay, so what was the first issue we had explored? Conflicting rules. So what does it mean? Okay, now we have a record here. Some record we have. We are aware of the objective. The objective is we should take this record either to class A or class B. Okay, so this was class B. This was the objective. Okay, we can do it manually. You can manually check the attributes of a record and you can decide whether it belongs to class A or class B. But you know about the manual process, it is tedious, and when it is involving huge amount of records, it is impossible. So we have an automated system in the form of a classifier. This classifier will take the record, okay, whichever rule is satisfied or triggered. So this record will be put into that class. For example, if this record satisfies rule 1, it will go inside class A, meaning that this record belongs to class A. If it is satisfying rule 2, it belongs to class B. Okay, so as I had already informed in the previous session, this is class B. Now there is an issue here. Okay, so what is that issue? This record is satisfying both rule 1 and rule 2. So the conflict now here is whether the classifier should put this record in class A or class B. So now we have a conflicting situation. And we have many solutions for this. We'll address it. We'll see what are the solutions for these type of situations. So one of the possibilities you had seen, one of the expectation in a rule-based classifier, which we have called as a property or characteristic. This is how it should be. Okay. For example, if you are a student of MIT, so what are your characteristics? You should have an ID. Okay. You should be in uniform. Okay. So these are the expectations in you, which help you identify uniquely with MIT. Okay. Similar lines. So we have some expectations with the rule, so which we have claimed as characteristics. So what is that? So a rule should be mutually exclusive. What does it mean? Just now we understood what is conflicting rule, meaning that a record should not be taken to multiple classes. Okay. So mutually exclusive means, so we cannot have rules which will take a record to different classes. You can see the situation here. Okay, so this record 1 is being taken to class A by rule 1, and the same record 1 is being taken to class B by rule 2. Okay, so this is a situation where the rules are not mutually exclusive. because each rule is taking a single record to different classes. Now, you need to overcome this situation. How we will do it, we'll see that anyhow. The solution is available in the next discussion. Next, we saw exhaustive rules. Exhaustive means what? You're aware of this term exhaustive. Exhaustive means try to cover as much as possible. Okay. Be comprehensive. That is the meaning, general English meaning. In this context, what exhaustive rule means? Okay. So exhaustive rule means your rules should cover as much attributes as possible, and no attribute should be left out. Okay. So this is my database that you are seeing towards the left hand side. This database has been used to build a classifier, to train a classifier that you are seeing in the middle. Okay, and this classifier will decide the class that is on towards the right hand side. Now, in this rule, you can observe all the attributes that were there in the database. Okay, attribute 1, 2, 3. So all the attributes are included in one or the other rule. Okay, it is not like it should be in one single rule. Okay, one or the other rule you can see ultimately all the attributes are included, and in that case we call it as the rule said to be exhaustive. Okay, everything has been covered. So no, I mean, we have not done any injustice to any of the attribute. So that is the meaning. Also, I had informed you this may not be the case always, because in data mining we saw few applications, few scenarios where we understood the number of attributes will not be 3, 4, 5, or 10. It will be hundreds and thousands of attributes. Not necessarily we should. I mean, it is like we should include everything. Okay, you can try to avoid or remove attributes which may not contribute to deciding on the class. Okay, so that is also possible. But the general requirement is rules should be exhaustive. Okay, so it should try to include all the attributes that are there in the database. So this was the exhaustive story. Uh, Finally, we concluded our discussion with this antecedent, empty antecedent. So what do you mean by this? So I've given you an example of a switch case statement, okay, which you have already experienced starting from first semester. What was that switch case statement? The switch will try to match with any of the possible cases. Okay, so if none of the cases match, the switch will directly take it to the default. Okay, so in similar lines, what the classifier will do, given a record, for example, given record 2, okay, the classifier will try to determine whether it belongs to class A, okay, so class B or class C. Please note 3 classes were there. It will try to determine if it belongs to class A, B or C. How it will do this particular task? Based on the rules. Okay. Now what if this record does not belong to any of the class A, B, C? So in that case, we will have something as a default class. In my example, I will call class D as a default. Okay. So input data object or a record which does not belong to any of the classes will go and sit inside this class. It will go and sit here inside the default. Okay, so this has been represented here, you can see. Okay. So if a record is not satisfying any of the rules, that is why it is empty. Okay, so take that record to YD, which is a default class. So we had concluded our discussion at this point. Now we have a challenging situation here. What was the challenging situation? What was the issue here? The issue is a record, one single record triggering more than one rule. Okay, that is accepted. A record can trigger more than one rule, but if all the rules are pointing to a single class, then no issue. For example, this was also briefed in the previous session, if you remember. I have my record 1, okay. We will assume it is triggering rule 1 and rule 5. This will not be a problematic situation if both rule 1 and rule 5 is taking to class A. Okay, so it is a normal scenario, no issues, no problems, no complexities. But what if rule 1 is pointing to class A and rule 5 is pointing to class B. Okay, so this is the situation now. Now, what is the solution? So many solutions are there, some of which we will explore. The solution that is visible on the screen is called as ordering of the rules. Ordering for what? For overcoming the conflicting rules. So you can see the heading here. So the heading is overcoming conflicting rules. So the subsection inside that is ordering the rules. So what we will do? We will give priority. That's it. So it's a very simple solution, but you have experienced in many concepts in many subjects. Just give priority. So for example, I have considered priority or ranking. So rule 1 to be of very high priority and rule 5 to be of very low priority. So this is what I have defined. Now, my record 1 is triggering both rule 1 and rule 5. So now what the classifier should do? To which class this record should be placed? So as per ordered rules. So just now you understood the classifier has experienced a conflicting situation where a single record is triggering two rules. There was no issue with this, but the issue is each rule is pointing to a different class. So to overcome this conflict, to avoid this situation, what we can do is we can define ranking or priority. So as per the defined ranking, what will happen here? So record 1 will go and sit inside class A, not class B. Now why record 1 went into class A? Why the classifier decided that record 1 should go into class A, why not class B? So the reason is we had assigned rank to the rules. Rule 1 was it was predefined to be of high ranking, and rule 5 was low ranking. So its consequence was the classifier resolved the conflict by deciding that record 1 should go and sit inside class A. Record 1 belongs to class A. See what I mean by telling that sitting inside class A means it belongs. Okay. So this was one way of resolving the conflict. Okay, please understand we are studying how the conflicts can be resolved. We understood what is a conflict. Okay. So one way of doing it is by giving ranks to the rule or priority to the rule. So there is one more way of doing it. But please note there is a issue. Problem here. What is the problem? Extra computation is required. Okay. So what is the extra computation? We should go into each rule. Okay. And in each rule, you should check all the attributes, values, and based on the attributes and values in a rule, you should try to estimate its importance. And more important a rule is, so it will become high priority, meaning that we need some computation here. Please understand. See, simply randomly, I cannot declare this is a high quality rule, this is a low quality rule, or a high priority or low priority rule. It cannot be done randomly. Okay. To decide that it is a high priority rule, so you should go into the fine grained details of the rule. Okay. Is this rule significant? Is this rule very important? Does this rule have attributes and values which are very crucial to this application? See, based on that factor, this decision will be done. Or decision about rank. Meaning that it involves some extra computation, okay, and processing cycles. So to avoid this, we have one more mechanism called as unordered rules. Okay. So what is unordered? So as the name is suggesting, we will not give any ordering or ranking to the rules. Okay. Then how we will decide, how the classifier will decide when this situation arises. Okay. How the classifier will make a decision. So decision will be something like this. I have tried to simplify the example to a very basic level. You can see here. Okay. Consider this situation. Record 1. So record 1 is triggering 3 rules. Okay. Please understand a single record can trigger multiple rules. Okay. So nobody can stop it because attributes will be scattered across multiple rules. So it can trigger multiple rules. In my example, so you can see record 1 is triggering rule 1, rule 3, and rule 4. Okay. So now it's a challenging situation for the classifier because rule 1 is pointing to class A, and you can see other rules, some rules are pointing to class B. Okay. So now it's a conflicting situation. Now it's a challenging situation for the classifier to decide to which class this record should go and sit. Okay. So we have one more solution, that's what I told you. We will not compute the priority of a rule. We will not compute the rank of a rule. Okay. Instead, we will perform voting. That's it. Okay. So what is voting here? Voting here means we will check how many rules have been triggered, which will take this record to class A, and how many rules have been triggered, which will take this record to class B. Still, if you have not understood this, I'll directly go to the example. You can see in this example, record 1 is triggering one rule. Okay, so one rule which will take this record to class A. Yes, I have written this number. You can see here, I have written this 1. Okay, so in the next situation, you can see record 1 is triggering two rules, R3, R4. Okay, two rules, which is taking this record to class B. Okay, so class B. Now we will perform voting. So voting means you are aware of this. So the one with the maximum count will win, meaning that now who is the winner here in this case? Is it class A or class B? Who has the maximum vote? So you can see it is class B is having maximum votes, meaning that this record 1 will go and sit inside class B. So please understand, we have not done any computation in terms of deciding on the priority for a rule. Already I briefed you, it involves very huge computation. Okay, processing cycles, memory. See, each and every data mining algorithm we are studying in that aspect, if you remember. Okay, starting from module 1 to the last discussions we had done, which is a priori and FP growth. Okay, please try to understand each and every mechanism in data mining in the context of time and space, meaning that memory and computation. So whichever is performing better will be the obvious winner. Okay, because that is a big issue in data mining. Okay. So a huge amount of data is there. The algorithms which are very effective in terms of memory utilization and processing. Okay, so those are the clear winners for any specific application. But I would like to add a note here that may not be the case always. Okay, we may have some other preferences, the details of which you will study in higher semesters in other subjects that I already explained to you. Hope you understood this unordered rules. Okay, so the bottom line here is in unordered rules, a record which is generating conflicting situation, meaning that it is triggering multiple rules. Okay, so classifier should decide to which class it should go and sit. So the decision will be based on the voting. So whichever classes are triggered more, or wherever, I mean, where we have more count with respect to the voting mechanism, so that record will go and sit there. So this was one thing. We have special cases here, like what if the record triggers, I mean, it is equal. Okay, so these situations will be handled by the algorithms which are implementing this, but it is not there as part of discussion here. So we'll not worry about that. So the benefit of this mechanism, already I told you, we are not computing any priorities. So we are saving our memory processing power, and obviously the response time will be better. Okay. So just to summarize, we understood how the conflicting situation that arises, okay, how the conflicting situation that arises when a record is triggering multiple rules which are taking that record to multiple classes, okay, can be resolved. So two popular ways of doing it we understood. One is ordering the rules, the other one is unordered rules. We understood the benefit in those mechanisms. Next, we will see rule ordering. So further way, ordering of rules, how we can do it. So we have few more ways of ordering the rules. What is that we will see. One is size ordering. Okay, what is size ordering? So as the name is indicating, the size here is the number of attributes. Okay. We understood each rule will have a collection of attributes. Okay. For example, if you go back here, just to avoid confusion, I'm going back. Okay. For example, here you can see. Here you can see in this example, rule 1. So how many attributes are associated with rule 1? So it is 2. Okay. How many attributes are associated with rule 2? Once again, it is 2. Okay. How many attributes are associated with rule 3? So it is 3. Now, in this specific example, which is the rule which is having the highest number of attributes, or which is using the highest number of attributes? So it is rule 3. Okay, so try to think in this in these lines. Okay, so I'll go back to the point where we were discussing. Okay, now the situation is same. Many rules are there. Okay, we should decide which is having the highest rank and which is having the lowest rank. Okay, so size will become a parameter here. It will become a metric for making a decision. How? For example, rule 1 is using 3 attributes, rule 2 is using 5, and rule 3 is using 11. Okay. Now you should tell me which is the rule with the highest priority and which is the rule with the lowest priority based on the defined constraint. Okay. So things are very clear here. Rule 3 will be the highest priority. Okay, I'll mark it with H. And rule 1 will be the lowest priority. Okay, this is the lowest priority. Okay, or rule 3 is having a high rank compared to rule 1. Now when this ranking mechanism will be utilized? So this will be used during conflicting situations. That is what I was telling you. Okay, so if a conflict occurs, meaning that rule 3 is taking to maybe class A, okay, and rule 1 is taking a record to class B. Okay, same situation. One single record was there. Okay, so rule 1 is taking this record to class B, and rule 3 is taking this record to class A. Now, who is the clear winner here as per the mechanism that has been decided? Okay, so as per the mechanism that has been decided here, the rule with the highest number of attributes will be the high rank rule, and in my example it is rule 3, meaning that this record will go and sit inside class A. So just now we explored one more way of resolving the conflict. Okay. This way of resolving the conflict is utilizing the size or the number of attributes associated with each rule. So based on the number of attributes associated with each rule, ranking will be given. Okay, so ranking will be given, and this ranking will decide or will overcome the conflicting situation, and a clear decision will be made. Okay, so this was size ordering scheme. Please note, we are assigning priority here, but amount of computation is bit comparatively less. Okay, so amount of computation is reduced because just we are counting the number of attributes. Okay, so we are not determining the significance of these attributes. See, that may be a drawback. Okay, for example, you try to understand this. Rule 3 may have 11 attributes. Okay, but rule 1, which has only 3 attributes, may have very highly significant attributes, very important attributes. But still, as you saw in this mechanism, rule 1 was discarded. Okay, so that is what I tell you. We do not have a mechanism in computer science or in engineering which has very clear advantage. See, each mechanism, each approach, each procedure, each technique will have its own advantages and drawbacks. Okay, so which mechanism is appropriate for your application? You should decide on this based on the situation. Okay. based on trial and error mechanisms, based on tried and tested methods. So please see, this method is having obvious advantage and also disadvantage. Once again, I'm repeating on the disadvantage. The disadvantage is we are telling that rule 1 is less important compared to rule 3, okay, based on size as a metric. But what if rule 1 is having attributes which are very crucial, which are very critical in making a decision? In that case, this mechanism will fail. Okay. See, you should do analysis like this, even if it is not given in textbook. See, whatever information that I told you now, just now, is not there in textbook. See, the author cannot cover everything. Okay. If that is the case, data mining should be divided across multiple semesters, like how you studied computer networks in maybe CN1 and CN2. See, all the detailings cannot be given. So you should come out with your own analysis. Okay. New insights into what you are studying, what content you are studying. Okay. Next, we have a few more ways of doing it, as I already told you. So rule ordering schemes. Okay. So class-based and rule-based priority. Rule-based already we saw. This already we have seen. Okay, it is repeating once again here. Okay, what is rule-based? So among the available rules, for example, I have written here, you can see R1 to R5. I declare that R1, R2 is having high priority, R4 is having low priority. Okay, this is high, this is low. Okay. How it is done, we know the complete story here, so I'll not repeat it once again. So this was rule based, but we have one more way of doing it. See, until now we were just discussing about rule. Okay, so if you just carefully observe, I was only telling about deciding on the rank based on the significance of the rule, importance of the rule. Okay, there is one more way of doing it, class based. The objective is same. Okay, objective is same, situation is same. What is the situation? Once again, I'll just remove this clutter. Okay, getting back to this. So I told you situation is same. What is the same situation I was talking about? Yes, this one. This record, okay, is triggering two rules, R1 and R4, and each rule is taking this record to a different class. Same situation. Okay, this was the conflicting, situation that I told you about, that we have discussed. Okay. Now we are exploring different ways of resolving this conflict. So when a conflict arises, you cannot keep quiet. Okay, you need to explore solutions for that conflict. So, and that is the topic of discussion in today's class. Okay, we are trying to explore solutions for this conflict. We saw a solution in the form of assigning ranking for the rules. We saw a solution in the form of voting. Okay. We saw a solution in the form of assigning ranking using attributes. We saw a solution in the form of assigning ranking based on the importance of the attributes and values. We explored everything. Okay. So this is one more way of doing it. So the conflict can be resolved not by prioritizing the rules, but the class. That's it. Okay. So we have classes on the right hand side. You can see we have the classes. Till now we were touching on the rules that were there inside the classifier. Okay, we would prioritize the rules that are sitting inside the classifier. Now we will prioritize the class. Okay, instead of prioritizing the rules, we will prioritize the class. In this example, you can see there are some 3 classes. See, try to give your own examples. So it is not like you should use the same example. Some 3 or 4 classes are there. Among those 3 or 4 classes, I have declared class 1 as high priority. Now, once again, this decision was not made randomly. Okay, this was based on some criteria, like I have written one criteria here, based on the importance of a class. So if you feel class 1 is very important, is very significant in this application, give it or assign it with a high priority. Okay. There is some class which is not so significant. Okay, so make it low priority. So now, how this conflict will be resolved using this scheme, class-based priority. Please understand, we are assigning priority or rank to the class. That is why this scheme is called as class-based priority. Okay. Once again, how the conflict is resolved. Consider the same situation. So we have a record here. Record is triggering two rules, R1 and R4, as you can see on the screen. Okay. So R1 is, R1 is taking this record to class 1 and R4 is taking this record to class 4. And if this classifier is using class-based priority and we have assigned these ranks to the class, now how the classifier will decide on this record? So the classifier will decide that this record should go and sit inside class 1. Why this decision was made? Because class 1 was of high priority. So we in this session we understood how conflicting rules can be resolved. Okay. So if rules are dragging a record to multiple classes, what are the solutions? What are the mechanisms available to resolve this conflict? So that is what we explored in today's session. Okay. So hope this session was beneficial for you. So you have understood the things. Once again, I want your confirmation. So are you clear with what is a rule-based classifier? How a rule-based classifier is constructed, how it works? Okay, what is the objective of a rule-based classifier? What are the problems this rule-based classifier can experience that we explored in the form of conflicting rules? Once a problem arises, we did not discard this rule-based classifier. Okay, we did not feel it's inferior. We came out with solutions to overcome this problem, and that was the topic of discussion in today's class. So we saw different solutions. We found one solution is better compared to other solution in a specific aspect. Okay. We saw solution in the form of ordering the rules. In deciding on the order also we saw two mechanisms. One was deciding the order based on the importance of the attribute. One more way was of determining the size of the attribute, number of attributes. Okay. So based on which we assigned ranks to the rules, and by assigning the ranks, what was the benefit? Already you saw that. Also we explored assigning priorities to classes. Okay. So we saw without assigning rank also we can help the classifier make a decision through voting. So we saw this mechanism also, the voting mechanism. See, we please try to understand the solution is diverse. See, this is how you need to think for your project also. So you select a problem. For example, the problem in this situation is avoiding conflicts. Okay, this is the problem statement. A classifier will have situations where it is experiencing conflicts. So this is a problem statement. Now, because of this problem, what will be the issue? What will be the challenge here? Okay. So the challenge is the classifier will get confused regarding to which class it should place the record. See, this is your problem statement, and that is what actually you need to write in your 6th semester. So already I told already teams have been made. Okay, so you need to come out with your problem statement in 6th semester. I'll announce the details of it by next week. Okay, so if any of you are not clear, have not made the teams, please complete it. So once you are clear with the problem statement, so starting from 7th semester, we will try to explore the